The seventh and the last love expression of Jesus on the cross before he breathed his last was, "Father, into your hands I commend my spirit." It's found in Luke chapter 23, verse 46. The last love expression of Jesus reveals how secure Jesus felt in his Father's hand. What he expressed is the usual bedtime prayer of every Jewish child found in Psalm 31. He started his first expression of love by calling on his Father and ended his last expression on the cross by addressing his Father. He entrusted his life to the Father who sent him to this world to give himself through the cross as a ransom for many. This verse shows how secure Jesus felt even in his death, because he knew that he was going to his Father after completing his task. There was no ambiguity in his mind about what is next. He could see it as a sleep, which will take him into the glorious presence of his Father. He came from the Father and was returning to the Father. He spoke about it while he lived in flesh and ministered to people. And he spoke about it even in his death. This is indeed a love expression of Jesus to his Father as to how secure he feels in him. Truly a secure love. The secure love is well illustrated in the story of the prodigal son as shared by Jesus. The son felt so secure to even come back to his father after having squandered the entire property in wild living. He probably thought his friend's love was more secure than the love of the father. But very soon he understood when he reached the pigsty, the security of the Father's love is far superior. He had nothing left to claim as his own except his Father. The leftover property, I guess, is all his brother's and not his. That is why probably he did not even seek a sonship position, but wanted to be like a hired servant. He came back only because he knew there was a Father who will not reject him. He knew the security of the love of the Father. Let's just imagine now, while he was coming back to his father, instead of meeting his father first, imagine he met his older brother. What would have happened? The way the elder brother reacted to the celebration tells us it would not have been a great deal. He would have probably sent him back to the pigsty. Maybe the younger brother would have never returned if not for the security of the love of the Father. Sadly, today many don't run to the security of God's love, but they keep pursuing their own security, which are again temporal and not really secure. During my growing up years, many of us, especially in our country, understood security in the order of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which means one spouse, 2 children, 3-bedroom house, 4-wheeler, and a 5-figure salary. Glad it was not the other way around. The order of priority has changed now drastically. It's not even one spouse. Maybe many times instead of spouse, they talk about 1 pet, 2 house or 3 gadgets, 4-wheel drive, and probably 5 helpers to do various things. And I guess our list can vary as time progresses. The big question is, where is our security? None of these things can take us beyond few years. We need to be sure of where we have come from and where we are going. As we know, it's the 4th anniversary of the COVID pandemic in India. We began to see so many people, even from our own churches, families, being taken away without much warnings. The ones who died were not the wicked ones, but many of our own loved ones and even saints of God passed away, isn't it? people's security was just limited then to the oxygen cylinder and a decent hospital bed. Their wealth could not save many of them. Many homes were grieved and pained, as death was the most unexpected thing that happened to many near and afar. But I do know of people who face death in its face based on their security in Jesus. So my dear friends, the security of our relationship or our job will all be challenged. Only our security in Jesus will carry us through. Few years back, when my own brother-in-law was battling with cancer, there were many faith healers who came and in some extent confused him and made a lot of false promises of healing. But another man of God, prepared by God, came to him and read Psalm 31:15, where it says, "My times are in your hands." Then it goes on to say, "Deliver me from the hands of the enemies." He made him confess that his times are in God's hand. And then he asked, "Whose hand is your wife? In whose hand is your children?" And he made him confess and release each of them into God's hand. And then he said, "I want you to know that God will take care of them because they are in His secure hand." This was a needed intervention for him to feel secure in the arms of Jesus. Within just few days, he passed away. And I still remember on the day of his death, my brother-in-law was telling all of us how he questioned God as to why the Lord allowed this to happen to him. He asked him, "Why me, Lord?" But then he was telling, on the day of his death, he said, after 18 months of going through this sickness, now I can ask God, "Why not me, Lord?" Because he said, "I have understood God in the way I have never understood all my life." And he finished his journey by saying, "For me to live is Christ, and to die is gain." The only safe and secure place is truly the love of God, in whose hand we can commit our life and our spirit. This is not for us to only think when we end our life. If every day we live in that consciousness of His presence and commit our life in His hand, we can live every day and also die in the assurance of His secure love. His love is the most secure place. That is why Fanny Crosby in her song says, "Safe in the arms of Jesus, safe on His gentle breast." In what has been our security? Is it in the security of God's love and in His eternal plan? Or is it on anything else? If it is on anything else, I would urge you, surrender your life to the one whose love is so secure, and He's inviting us to give our life to Him and to His perfect love, which is secure for you and me. May God help us by His Spirit to be secure in His love and give our life as an offering unto Him. Amen.